what Lourlo will do into Huni, as he's been, of course, a terror in the top lane as well.
And despite the fact that Ezreal has been mostly just ignored today, not going to be ignoring that one against Fenix, who is, turns out, pretty good.
Who would have thought if you've named yourself after a bird or a StarCraft character, you're good with bird champions?
There you go.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any like reborn champions in League of Legends, and like Urgot and Sion would like fit the lore of Phoenix the character. Not the case though.
I have to trust you on that.
Yeah,
I'm not up on my lore.
Yeah, StarCraft lore, something I know a little bit about. Phoenix was a zealot, became a dragoon, but we're casting League of Legends. We're going to move on as Gangplank is off the table as well. That's a kind of reborn champion. He was in the water and he came back, got a sweet arm. Either way, not going to be picked this game.
That's true. Unfortunately, he lost his real arm.
Yeah.
Which was a bit unlucky.
That's a bit unlucky, you might say.
Either way, he's still doing pretty well these days.
Yeah.
Picked or banned quite a lot.
Yeah, sadly banned him this time around. Though Gnar up the table. Same for Rakan. So a smattering of bans in different roles here for Echo Fox. Golden Guardians doing something similar. Kalista off the table as well. And now it's time for Echo Fox's first pick.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they want to go. Traditionally, they have
Zoe's up.
Going for things for Huni, putting a lot of priority on his lane, the GP off the table. Zoe going to be the pick here for Phoenix. Ryze still available. Malzahar available. You know, there are picks like that. We have been seeing a little bit more kind of variance in the mid lane these days, I would say. And hopefully we'll continue to see more of that. I was really interested to see Kassadin come out actually in the EU for Caps, and I actually tend to think that's a pretty reasonable matchup into Zoe, so it would be interesting to see if Hai wants to go for anything along those lines and see someone who had brought out Kassadin in the past. But Kog'Maw, Camille going to be the first two here, and Kog'Maw blind seems bold into Huni. Or sorry, rather, the Camille.
I think the reason they're doing Camille blind is they're hoping to bait it and send her into the jungle. I think I would expect to not see a jungler for Guardians until they know the matchup somewhere else. Otherwise, I don't see why you'd blind pick Camille into Huni. I think that would be scary. Otherwise, Ezreal comes through for Echo Fox. We'll see what rounds out their first side of the draft.
And it definitely has been a flex pick, just much less so in North America.
True.
It's been getting played in the jungle a lot in the LPL and some of the other regions there too. So we'll have to see if Contractz is practiced up on that. Definitely seems like something that he would be good at. You know, he has been very proficient on aggressive champions, and hey, this is kind of what we're talking about. Show us something new. Show us something that your opponents perhaps have not practiced against a lot, and this may be that, right? Maybe you can earn yourselves a draft advantage here by throwing a wrench in the gears of Echo Fox with this flex pick.
See, Garen top lane. Camille's going to the jungle. This is Garen. Or actually, shout out to Garen jungle. There's a show match recently.
Garen mid lane. Did you see Peke play it?
You right. My bad. Galio comes through. So they've got more, but they've got some more dive combo. Like Golden Guardians running a comp a little bit similar to what FlyQuest ran for themselves. It was, of course, a Rakan for them. Rakan's gone here, but Camille into a Galio dive can be very, very strong.
Definitely can. It always, not that this composition cannot work, but it always makes me a little bit nervous when you see one half of the composition wanting to very clearly one thing and the other half wanting to do something else. You know, if you're trying to dive with Camille and a Galio, but then you have a Kog'Maw in the back who's kind of like, oh, hey guys, what about me? Then that can be a little bit concerning.
Difficult,
But at the same time, you could just say, oh, Camille, you're just going to split push and we're just going to have this, you know, Galio protecting the Kog'Maw. So there's certainly lots of ways to make it work. It's just something to keep in mind going into these last couple picks.
Absolutely. I want to see if Ornn support can come through, actually. If you're talking about go forward and hard dive teams, Ornn support I feel like is super good for that as well. Yes, it's weak into Braum, but you know, see what comes through as Fiora off the table, Jace as well. Maybe they really are trying to protect Camille here if Echo Fox weren't willing to pick because the chance to flex. Now, Golden Guards get the chance to put some bans through. Tarek off the table, we'll see what their final support ban will be, and then we'll see what Golden Guardians want for themselves.
They are at the very least really just kind of fainting towards it being a top laner. They are going to have to show a pick here. They could save theoretically their top/jungle for last if they are really concerned about that. And that's they're trying to make Echo Fox pick this not knowing, right? It could still be a top laner, right? If Huni picks something and Lourlo says, no, I beat this, then great, it goes top. If he does not, then you say, okay, well, we're going jungle.
And you've got like Sejuani and Jarvan and Zac and Skarn are all available. Like, there's a lot of great, you know, conventional junglers still available for Contractz if he wants them. So see what comes through. Tahm Kench for Kog'Maw I think is great. I think it's a really good pairing. It allows Deftly to run up and use that W and join the fights really consistently and do well with that. Vladimir going to be the top lane pick out for Huni.
I also really like it just in general into Zoe. Anytime someone gets slept up, you eat them away. That is a very, very powerful interaction, and it is going to be Dardoch on the Jax. So Jax definitely coming into play here in North America much more, kind of rising in priority in the meta. I think Vladimir actually makes quite a lot of sense simply because it's quite a strong laner just in general. Yes, there are some picks that can have an advantage in lane against it, but they're generally pretty risky. It's things like bringing Ignite and trying to do early all-ins, which in competitive often does not happen.
Yep.
And it is just going to be Camille in the top side going into Vladimir. And this is going to be an interesting one for me because I feel like if Lourlo cannot play it aggressively, he's going to end up oftentimes under his turret and getting harassed by the Vladimir, which can put you in a pretty rough spot. Hookshot engages can be tough also on the Vladimir because it's pretty telegraphed in the pool, allows you to easily avoid that. That being said, maybe Lourlo's going to go for something like an early team ad and try to have the push going in his favor. If you can get ahead and start getting some kills, then maybe you can snowball that lane.
Yeah, I definitely don't know how the lane's supposed to run, but it's going to be interesting all the same. Huni running into lane with Ignite. Looks like it's going to be a spellbook Vladimir in the top lane. Similar situations for Fenix and High. I'm expecting here as well with the Ignite start for the Galio. But it's going to be a fun one here to round out the day. We've had 4 upsets. You could consider that C9TL is not that so much, but still, it's been a very interesting day of some results many wouldn't have expected as the coaches shake hands. Is that Justin Timberlake on the left-hand side? No, that's Coach Inero, but he likes to consider that he's a similar man here, and we have the lineups on your screen one more time for that final one of the day. Echo Fox can, of course, tie for first place. They can improve to 6-1 and match Cloud9 there. Golden Guardians hoping to find themselves a win, but of course they sit right now 2 wins behind 9th place. Is off. They could have picked up number 2 earlier today. I want to see what Lourlo can do on this Camille as well. I think it's going to be a very fun matchup in the top side. Interesting to watch for as they have put High on some helpful secondary engage. We'll see if Deftly and Lourlo can be the damage sources the team needs.
Yeah, and we're also going to have to find out what kind of a build High is going to bring forth, right? Definitely going into last game, I was expecting Fly to be building much more heavily towards AP. That did not end up being the case, but especially in this game, it feels like you probably want that more often than not because Tahm Kench is offering very little damage. Sejuani is offering little damage as well, so definitely expecting High to go for that AP build, but they're going to be in tough against Echo Fox, who has been very, very strong this season, and definitely surprising some people with how well they have played, and it's kind of always, can they keep that up? Can they maintain this level of dominance, and can they be consistent against some of the teams which are supposed to be weaker than them? Because they have shown kind of moments where perhaps they just got too overconfident in giving up silly fights and things like this, and you want to see them really show that they can be a completely dominant team. Like, this is a team that is coming into the day tied for first. You're going up against clearly the last place team in the league. If there was ever a game that you should win cleanly, it is this. Yeah. And that is kind of what you're looking for from Echo Fox if they want to keep pace with Cloud9 and show that they are as good of a team as them.
Absolutely the case. We'll see what happens into this one. 5-1 versus 0-6. But it all depends on how you play on Summoner's Rift on the day. Another week of practice for Golden Guardians. Another week, of course, for Echo Fox as well. We'll see who improved more and maybe just who has the better game today. If you ate your Wheaties, maybe you have a better game than last time. If they had some inferior cereal for breakfast, who knows? Blue buff leash comes in as Contractz will join a second late, but shouldn't have a big problem getting rid of this blue buff. And no one's really here to steal. Ezreal's coming for a bit of poke, but this might actually burn to make sure he gets away in time. They're going to move their leash over to this Braum.
And Dardoch going press the attack, which is a bit more of an aggressive option. Yeah. You do sometimes see full-on defensive options like Guardian and Aftershock and these sorts of things. I've been seeing more and more fleet footwork as well, simply because, as more of a solo queue thing, because of the attack speed and these sorts of things that can be pretty useful, and also just keeping you so healthy in your career can be quite useful. But we'll see what sort of a style he wants to play, because Dardoch is a fairly aggressive player, and it'd be cool if he wants to go for a more aggressive build and look for something along those lines, but without there being a true front line on the team, expecting him to go probably tank.
Okay, Q burn by Huni, level 2 gained here as well. As they battle down to the bot side, Echo Fox got level 2 first though. Matt was a bit late to lane from the Q landed by Adrian, pushing him away as they still match up in levels. The health down a little bit from Mappa, not terrible. Nice little stun going to be landed, and Huni won't take too much more, so you can go back towards Lourlo. Empowered Q available, 124.
And you have to play so heavily around that Empowered Q. It is very dangerous, but fight in the mid lane and looking for a gank on top side. High could just go down.
A lot of health Ignite on the top side as well. Lourlo going to flash with a flash follow, and Dardoch gets some first blood for Echo Fox.
That is so well done there by Huni and Dardoch. Full commitment, flash in, Ignite from Huni, and then Dardoch uses the leap strike with his counter strike up, and then the flash afterwards to get the additional distance to follow Lourlo on that flash and get that first blood.
Nicely played. So TP comes in, and all he got was refillable potion and a control ward. That is not a meaningful back at all for Lourlo. Rough stuff there. Nice knock up for High. The taunt's going to mean aggro, actually. Phoenix going to land the sleep flash the way. Looks for the Q. He can't get it. There's no way he's in range. So nicely done by High. Trades a flash out, and now Contractz is here. W would be the kill, but it's not up from cooldown. He's got to respect Jax coming around. And so Phoenix walks away with his life. Dardoch doesn't want to go for the play. He's kind of threatened of all the chains he sees available.
Yeah, and Phoenix very low, going back to base, but honestly, Phoenix lucky to get out with his life here. Let's watch this play once more. It looks like Huni just going forward, hits right as he hits level 3. Nicely timed flash, gets the ignite, gets the E for the slow, and then Dardoch very well executed with Counter-Strike again. Leap strikes forward, follow the flash with his own, and lands his Counter-Strike. Just really well done.
Yeah, really nice stuff out of this one. So Huni moving towards some armor for the early builds after his extra money courtesy of First Blood. At least the assist on it. Little poke was definitely, but he's okay. So bot lane wave right now looks like Fox have slightly more minions to farm, so they're technically going to be winning in CS, but otherwise a split lane feels good for Kog'Maw in my opinion. 1,000 gold lead for Fox, so obviously the mid and top lane both looking very good. A 10 CS lead for Phoenix, nothing to smirk at.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, High almost got solo killed, honestly. If there was actually an ignite on Phoenix instead of that cleanse, he probably would have had the kill, but then I got a little bit cocky and had to blow his flash with the turret. Getting taunted under the turret by Galio was a bit silly, but either way, he came out on top. Jax is waiting here. If this goes bad for Golden Guardians on the top side, this is going to snowball out of control, and Jax is going to be a big surprise.
He's going to land the stun as the follow-up there. Yes, it is. Lourlo was down. Contractz running for his life, but he's slowed down. A lot of damage coming through. One more hit will kill him. And this is a disaster in the top lane. All 3 kills up there already.
Dardoch spread them like a book. Being up there in the top lane, once you get behind a Vladimir, you are almost entirely dependent on your jungler to bail you out. Dardoch knows this. He waits in the bush. Huni pushes up. And as Contractz comes in, you walk into a 2v2 that you cannot win. And even not using his pool there, just baiting him backwards into the bush, pulling him there, and out comes Dardoch. Easy kill onto Lourlo, and yeah, that is gotta feel so bad, because honestly, from this stage, when you're that far behind with Vladimir, it's just gonna get worse, and it's just gonna get worse.
Yeah, rough stuff. Contractz thought he could help. He queued in for a CC, and he met his own death instead. He saw Jax, but he jumped in. So ouch. 3-0, the gold lead 2,000 already. And we saw Liquid Speed running last week. Looks like Fox are on pace to do something similar.
I mean, they're 20 CS up in mid lane. They are quite a bit of gold up in the top side, and Vladimir is going to be very difficult to deal with. For Lourlo, it becomes extremely oppressive to deal with. If you do start getting pushed in under your turret, he can afford to take turret shots and just trading onto you, poking you out, pushing you back to base, and if you get poked down too low, he executes some of the most powerful 1v1 turret dives there also with that pool.
Yes, but Huni gets into the nice little trade there. They go back and forth, and not a lot of farm lost by the Vlad, but he's actually zoning out Lourlo, who's not getting the same last hits.
And the early Lucidity boots are going to be really nice in combination with the Summoner Spellbook, because he's going to have such low cooldowns on these Summoners that it's not a lot of a cost to use the Ignite very aggressively.
Yeah. If
you can actually get a lane pressure advantage, that's pretty easy to just push one Ignite out. Next time it comes back up, you look for the dive.
This is the most Huni thing ever, by the way. We're 7 minutes in, and he's keeping Ignite.
Yeah.
Like, most teams be like, all right, we got to have teleport now for the bot lane plays. Things gonna, like, no. I'm going to solo kill Lourlo some more. I'm going to keep Ignite for this game. And he gets to go full solo queue status.
And at the same time, when mid lane is smashing, when bot lane is even, your jungler's way ahead, and you have a hugely advantageous lane that now it's like, can Contractz even come to help? I don't know, right? Like, I think staying Ignite makes a lot of sense, because it's going to give you so much more pressure. It adds a lot more power in the all-in, and it's going to make Lourlo play so ridiculously safe that he's just having to give up so much.
Yeah, the farm lead was 2 last time we checked. Now it's 17 in the top lane, not getting any better for Lourlo anytime soon. Quick fight of resource in the bot side, farm traded.
The worst part about this, when a wave is slowly building towards you as a top laner, is this sinking feeling in your stomach that you're going to get dove on the wave.
Yeah.
And if Dardoch comes up top and they dive him on this wave and he loses all those minions, that's when it's time to just like, all right, go next.
Yeah.
But Contractz has preempted this. He knows that this is a possibility, so he is at least up there to defend against any possibilities of that dive. And at the very least, he'll get the experience, right? That is very important.
2 stopwatches. Fox could probably try to dive, but Contractz now hits 6. The crowd will probably a bit too much. They don't go for the play, but They had 3 aggro resets. Theoretically,
it's
you could...
true, but a 2v2 dive against full HP is like very risky, right?
I agree.
So why risk it? I think Contractz did the smart thing. He at least allows his top laner to get some experience and get a little bit of gold, but it's still very tough, and Dardoch is here.
Okay, ulti pop. There's the Hourglass. TP coming in. Then it's Huni walking away, but there could be a stun to be landed. A bit more damage coming across. Huni still has flash, burns it, gets a little bit of distance, and out he goes.
Yeah, it does survive. He has to blow a stopwatch to flash, but again, Summoner spell cooldowns are going to be very, very low, and that was the TP that had to come up from Matt. Contractz had to stick around there quite a lot as well to try to defend him, and Huni is going to be okay, and Lourlo will go back to base, have to TP back in, and he's looking to try to threaten a freeze to force Huni to stay around and at least push it in, which Huni will do before he'll go back to base.
Well, good play at least by Golden Guardians, the team, to get that farm at least somewhat into Lourlo's hands. They attempted the counter play into Huni, and they at least got a splash out.
And even if you can't get the farm, getting the experience is so critical, right? You can't afford, like, if you give up that wave, you end up in a situation where you're 3 levels down and it's hopeless. You need to at least have the levels so that if your jungler comes or there's some sort of mistake, that you have a chance. But again, Dardoch up here on the top side, playing towards the strong lane. You have an Ezreal in the bot lane. You don't need to play around that. You have Zoe who can wave clear from far away. You don't need to play around that either. Play to your strong lane right now, defend this guy, put Lourlo at even more of a disadvantage, because this is not a Maokai. This is a Camille who can do almost nothing if she cannot dive to the back line and one-shot someone in a team fight, or split push and win 1v1.
Looks like Dardoch doesn't want to go for the dive. Contract's not around, but Galio had cheated up to the top side. They don't want to have to play around that, so they're going to peace out.
But it's even just enabling him, right? He gives the lane ward, he clears out some of the defensive vision that Lourlo has. So Lourlo has to play respecting the fact that Dardoch could be dead. And there's also a lot more safety for Huni to push in, because he now has these 2 defensive wards that are going to cover him.
Dardoch gets that one. Of course, being level ahead means he fights a bit better, and Big Raptor goes over to the Equifox jungler. The gold lead now 3,000 across the map as we look for some trades in the bot and mid lane, but that's a big gain. If you're tired of hearing me talk, Avali May, as we saw a second ago, is in the NALCS lounge alongside Double Lift, Biofrost, and I believe Ole going to be joining them partway through as well. So, but of course, Azael is completely worthy of listening to. Probably outranks all 3 of them in sheer personality and charm.
Sorry, what did you say? I was watching the stream.
Oh, that's fine.
As soon as you said, you're tired of hearing me talk,
everyone already is. I mean, people just toggle the mute constantly, and they only ever hear you monologue. It's always your time to shine.
Thank you. Yeah. Just the way I want it. But,
exactly.
Should be a fun stream, so definitely check that one out. Either way, Equifox looking really good so far. This is the kind of dominant performance you're expecting against a team who is at the top of the table versus one who is at the bottom. And it's going to be on Golden Guardians to try to make some sort of plays, I think, to be relatively proactive. Because despite the fact that you have a Kog'Maw and you can be like, we have late. Well, you don't really when you're falling this far behind if your opponents continuously are taking more of the map. If they're continuing to extend this gold lead and take over your jungle and get experience advantages and these sorts of things, you can't just afford to sit back with the Kog'Maw or not.
Well, unless Equifox somehow slowed down. Right now, of course, they are not. They're playing at the tempo they're supposed to be. 3,000 go up. Ocean Drake picked up for even better laning, but of course we've seen comebacks from larger deficits. Just it's pretty rare. Right now, Altec still happy to tread water in this lane. Minus 30 in mid lane, of course, not great for high. He's not even really left lane. He's never ulted actually to top side. He's only TP back to his own lane. It's been Fenix really conferring a great advantage here, but here comes an attempted gank top side as Contractz comes to join in. Ulti popped on, but Huni doesn't really take any damage from this. He's staying above half HP. Empowered Q, and he's like, okay, nice ult, dude. I'm higher health than you, and Contractz turns away. Yeah,
I mean, the early armor from the Seekers is going to help a lot with that. The Doran shield, he's going to be relatively tanky, and that's the ultimate down, and that's really all of his threat. So now Lourlo is going to have to back off. He's going to be starting to get pushed in. It's going to be a very, very uphill battle. I mean, down 2 levels against the Vladimir, who is up significantly in farm, who has the kill, the assist, and he's going to be harassing you under your turret and just now zoning him off the turret. You can see that Dardoch is heading back up there again. It's got to be very, very frustrating for Lourlo, and he's forced to just base and sacrifice all of that experience on all those minions. Doesn't even have a TP.
Yep. I do want to give, re-hit the props I want to give to Fenix here, because Huni got a bunch of pressure from Dardoch, 2 straight kills. His farm lead is equal to Fenix's farm lead. Yeah. Fenix has done that pretty much by himself. There was a small scuffle mid, but it was matched by both junglers, so huge props to Fenix doing well. The first pick Zoe, obviously. was clearly very valuable. A lot of teams are banning it away, so all these teams know it's a sought-after champion, but Fenix just manhandling the lanes.
I mean, he almost got an early solo kill on Galio, which is not something you're expecting to see from the Zoe. I was thinking this would be much more of just a farm-heavy lane, right? You know, High kind of had his pick of the litter as far as what he would want to go into the Zoe afterwards. Things like Ryze, I believe, were still available.
Yeah,
but
Ryze definitely up.
You know, he decided to go for the Galio, and perhaps thinking he could keep an even farm lane too. But that's the thing about Zoe. No matter what the matchup is, if you're able to hit enough skill shots, it's becomes very one-sided for that Zoe because of the amount of power that she has in that. If you're hitting sleeps, you do a tremendous amount of damage to your follow-up. Something you always have to be aware of.
Well, first power spike is in for Golden Guardians, though. Abyssal Mask is done now for High, and Kog'Maw's hit Rage Blade, and dealing a lot of magic damage, as Kog'Maw does. Still an 8.2 where Kog's super strong. This is the first vestige where, okay, maybe the bot lane on the map can do something. Now, Huni has teleport finally, so we can join those fights that would be on the bottom side of the map, but maybe Guardians can find something for themselves around Deftly's power spike, and in fact, they're trying right now. Altec forced to flash away. TP coming in.
Does he complete it?
He's going to flash forward. Hemoplague onto 3, looking for slows into Contractz, flashing away. Braum ult only tags the 1, and then he spits him right back out, but Matt will lose his life. Now the chase in on towards Deftly.
All 5 are coming to the bot lane. Dardoch and Fenix looking to flank this. They want them all.
And they're going to find them. There's no way out for Golden Guardians. Zoe shows up, finds the shot. Fenix gets 1. There's the 2nd and 3rd. A whitewash on this side of the map. Golden Guardians to find anything on the scoreboard, as his bot lane turret should fall as well.
Just a perfect response from Echo Fox. Golden Guardians finally pull the trigger. They're trying to play around the fact that they had an advantage somewhere. And not only does it go wrong, they lose all 3. They're going to lose the turret here on the bot side too. And
yeah,
Echo Fox is going to be back to the soul lanes in time to defend their turrets there as well.
Seems like it. I'm not sure what kept High from being able to join that fight, but it looked like they were orchestrating something. Lourlo stayed to match the TP, and there's no point in High showing up anyway, so Fenix, you know, making sure the tower dive worked well.
Yep, and I mean, here they go. They're looking for this. Altec knows that he is around. The Sejuani comes over the wall. Contractz nicely engaged, but using the flash, the arcane shift, and now Huni feels that they've committed enough that he can finish this TP, flash, Hemoplague. He has the ignite, going all in for this, and despite the fact that Matt is able to take Contractz for the time being, everyone was rotating down, and honestly, even if Lourlo TP'd to match, you can't win the fight, so your only hope is running away, right? And I think he would have probably just been coming into his death with very few items to his name. I mean, Huni is on 2 completed items, and Lourlo has a Tiamat and a Sheep.
Those are completed items. I mean, technically.
There you go.
But you're right. It's obviously cut above right now. Huni himself up, oh gosh, that gold, 2,800. He's got like more than 1.5x Lourlo's gold right now. This is not obviously a close matchup. Sure, the help existed, but the quality of player tends to be quite a bit higher on the Echo Fox side as well.
I mean, honestly, gold leads are just pretty enormous all across the top side of the map, right? It's 1,500 gold in the advantage for Dardoch, and you know, well over 1,000 gold now for Fenix here too. Like, that is just such a huge gold lead in all these power points on the top side. Ooh. Smites the 1 HP. Dardoch's laughing about it.
Typical jungler. All right, well, Dardoch going to get that one away towards Matt. Nicely played, Tahm Kench. Something finally going the way of Golden Guardians.
Oh, here comes the flank here from Lourlo. They're trying to catch Altec, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get him.
No easy catch for neither Fenix nor Huni. No TPs to join in. Here comes the Galio ultimate. This is going to be at least one shutdown. Altec goes and gets dropped. Ulti's chained in with the hard crowd control, and Adrian shouldn't have a way out either. So Golden Guardians finally on the board. A double kill for Lourlo. Something to smile about. But they have so much more work to do.
Yeah, really well done to get something out of that play, finally executing a play. They knew they needed to make something happen. They lose the mid turret, though. Tier 2 is being pressured. Top lane Tier 2 is going to be pressured here as well. So despite the fact that the kills go the way of the Golden Guardians, Echo Fox is still getting stuff back.
Yes, they are. Turret means the gold is about the same, and more turret damage means quite a bit as well, as they can walk back out, including to take away some of these Krugs. Taking stock of the map, 6,000 gold deficit. That double kill coming through for Lourlo means he's only down still way too much, 2,400.
Hey, great, you're only down here.
He's got a phage! He's now 2/3 the way towards 294.
Things are looking great, right? You know,
yeah.
Now you'll easily solo kill him. But
that's how that
mean,
works.
It is important, right? Being able to get the 2 kills onto Lourlo at least gives you some hope that maybe you can turn something around later. And 4 men on the top side. We'll see if Huni can get out of this one.
Huni has escaped, goes ulti up, flash as well, puts the Hemoplague in and dodges away from the stun. Lourlo running away, but now the rest of the team is here. 1 versus 4. He's going to be slowed as well and stunned. And And the Zodi's not going to matter much as he turns it back around, and the kill comes through. Lourlo, 3 in a row. He's got all the gold on the team. And that kill's going to trade for an Ocean Drake, and Huni himself says it's not worth that trade.
I mean, nicely done, though. Still, I do think that Golden Guardians, yes, it looks silly sending 4 members for one, but what else can you do? You have to make these plays. Is it what you would do in an ideal world? No, of course not. But these are plays that they are making to try to win the game. They are not trying to just go quietly in the night. They're trying to be proactive. They're trying to make things happen. And again, here comes.
Okay, well, Matt in the front line, Lourlo around, getting a bit of damage. Exhausted pushed away. A big damage out of Phoenix if he wants it. Asleep in the front line, a knock-up there onto Adrian. The knock-up again to channel through. The taunt is in. That's going to be one. That should be a second. Altec, not long for the world. Lourlo on his 4th kill. And the drowsy Sejuani doesn't care too much. Golden Guardians starting to find fights.
I mean, they're just moving around the map very, very well. They're not willing to just let this game go away. They are fighting for every inch and trying to find these picks, trying to find these kills. And yes, they're still very far behind, but they have 5 kills to their name now. Lourlo has a completed Triforce, which is nothing to scoff at. And here it is again. Matt and Lourlo coming in. The Galio roaming down. 5 men coming to the bot lane. The stopwatch buying a lot of time there for Matt. Let's High get into position, and as he comes in, lands a nice taunt onto 2. Altec getting caught by that. Deftly pumping out a lot of damage, and Lourlo, the beneficiary of a lot of these fights, getting a lot of kills. And the fact that Kog'Maw now picked up 1 too is very, very good for them. It's giving them some hope in this game.
It is giving them some hope. Definitely on his way towards Wit's End to continue that magic damage output here. Most of that team is armor stacking. Only a couple of Merc Treads to really dissuade that. That helm for Dardoch going to mean quite a bit, though. It's going to be a much harder champion to kill. Quick blue to Phoenix. He's going to recall. Does have a stored teleport. It's going to be nice for him to get back around the map as far as he wants.
So now we need to look at it from Echo Fox's point of view. Golden Guardians has made some great plays, have found some picks, have found some advantageous fights. For Echo Fox, you want to make sure you are not getting too far ahead of yourselves. You need to be doing your due diligence, clearing out wards, controlling vision, eliminating the ability for these TP flanks and collapses to come in. But Huni is up here again. We'll see if he can turn this around.
That's some pretty good damage, though. Got him down about 1/3. Portals backwards, taunted in and dies. And that only took 2 people this time around. It's getting easier to knock down Huni, but look at this as Baron's being attacked. Junker's around the wall, though. There's no way to get that one, and Echo Fox have seeded what looks to be almost their 6th straight kill now.
It is their 6th straight kill. I mean, High has his ultimate available too, so he could have collapsed over to that Baron pit if they committed. And Golden Guardians is starting to play very, very well. I mean, Echo Fox, again, feeling like they're playing very brazenly, a little bit overconfident, just as they did last week in their Sunday game.
Exactly. They played against Optic. They had a 10,000 gold lead at like 20 minutes. They got an inhibitor, like, this is great, and then threw for about 5 minutes straight. And they laughed it off, saying, okay, we got sloppy. Don't worry, it's better next time. Weaker opponent, and they're doing the same things.
They are, but to their credit, they're still heavily in the lead, right? Yeah. They still have quite a big gold advantage. They have a very powerful team composition in their own right. It's not like, okay, they lose now. You know, it's just Golden Guardians has a glimmer of hope, right? There is a way for them to kind of make some plays and get back in this. But High getting caught out of this, maybe a kill going back the way of Echo Fox.
Ooh, not sure what he's getting out of that stopwatch. It means an easy drowsy. That was actually kind of misplayed for himself. But he might die for this when the flash forward Dardoch gets the kill. I don't like that he set up the easy crowd control. Instead of the back line means nothing goes. No one can follow up on that fight. 4v5 theoretically around the map. We look for a bit more towards Dardoch. Good damage. They can find the stun. They will pick that one up. So now it's a 4v4. They have a big hemo plug in the back line. Finds 3. Shouldn't be enough for any kills, but it does mean some pain. Heals back up, looks for more pushing in the mid lane. Is that turret likely to fall? Definitely can't defend it easily.
Yeah, it was a really good hook shot from Lourlo to actually deny Huni from flashing in and following up on that Hemo Plague, or it could have been a total disaster for the Golden Guardians. But as is, it's a 1-for-1 trade. It is the turret going in Echo Fox's favor, so getting back out on the map, making a positive play for themselves is going to do wonders for rebuilding their confidence in the game state. Well, okay. Want to go in on that.
Felt safe enough. That is shut down gold. Dardoch was on a 4-0 spree, so extra gold over put a force mid lane turret means it's pointed a little bit. Nice. Just barely tags that one on the High.
Yeah, just honestly a nice drowsy onto him. So while I agree that does end up looking a little bit silly, you know, using stopwatch and the CC, he was trying to delay for Tahm Kench to come in and eat him. He was hoping that, okay, I use the stopwatch, Tahm Kench comes in, eats me away, saves me, we turn around the fight. And you know, he does go down, but at least he bought enough time that forces Dardoch to stay there. They get 1 kill, and that's a hook shot on the side from Lourlo that delayed the continuation of that fight and kind of keeps them safe from Huni, because have no illusions. If Huni flashes in the backline, despite the fact that he's died twice in a row now, if he gets on top of everyone with the Hemo Plague, he will delete the team.
That's absolutely true. He is huge right now. Ability power, 274, pretty solid for this point in the game. Proto Belt, of course, means more damage. He's close to Leandre's Torment for even more as well. This could be a lot of pain before you know it. 5,000 gold remains the lead, of course. Make no mistake, Echo Fox are winning this one. Double Ocean means they can stay on the map quite a long time as well. Even it's actually a DPS stat for Altec, since he can continue to regen mana, and it means his Muramana deals more damage from his mana pool. So, nice there.
Yeah, Huni is already sitting at 45% CDR right now, so he is looking very good in that regard, and that's obviously helped by the blue buff, but still that is kind of what you're aiming for on Vladimir, having the amount of spell rotations that you can be pumping out, so you can drop your ultimate, your E, your Q, then you go into your pool, then you Zonias, then you come back out, and your pool is back up, etc. And you can kind of just cycle through these spells and become not only extremely destructive and putting out a ton of damage, but you're so hard to actually take down because there's such long periods of vulnerability. If you can get multiple pools plus your Zonias off in one team fight, it's really tough to get enough damage to ever kill them off.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of damage towards Contractz. Frost Armor was holding, so not a huge ton of pain. Finley going to be cleared away pretty quickly out by High. Has to sacrifice, looks like the melee minion here, but also has to respect Dardoch, who's chasing in. Now push right back out, who is also, by the way, Dardoch, going towards at least one of the Sheen items, but guessing Trinity Force.
Yeah, very likely a Trinity Force. He's going a little bit later than Onda did, but makes sense when he is more of kind of the sole front line in this team. And you can say Braum is pseudo front line or whatever you want to call it, but either way, he will be building towards that Triforce, and it's going to be quite a big increase in power when he does get there. One thing going well for Gold Guardians, you have to say, is the fact that Deftly is up quite a fair bit in farm over Altec. He has a kill to his name, so Deftly is at a pretty strong point in the game for the Kog'Maw. When he completes that 3 items, things will be looking pretty good from his point of view. But that being said, still some significant disadvantages all across the top side of the map. In jungle, in mid, and in top, Echo Fox is looking very, very good, and as a result, teamfights are certainly still heavily in their favor.
And they are. So we'll see when the next one comes up right now. 3 Drakes in a row, of course, quite nice for them, as Inferno will spawn quite a while away. Baron's still on the map. We'll see when they try to control it. Echo Fox, what can you do now in this mid-game? Phoenix doesn't quite clear the melee minions, but no one around to contest that. I don't think anyone saw, to be honest, so he can pretend that never happened. 3 items done for the Ezreal, of course, a pretty solid spike. Still quite a while to go. Actually, about 700 gold till Deftly can complete Blade of the Ruin King, so that'll be good for him when that money comes through.
Yeah, definitely going to be nice. We'll see if he's going to be able to actually stay alive against the diving Vladimir and Jackson. With the additional damage that could be coming through with Ezreal ulti and Zoe poke and all these sorts of things, he's going to be quite careful about that. But if he can stay safe and pump out a lot of damage, they're going to have their chances in the team fights. But we have seen the High going towards a much more AP-oriented build as expected compared to what Fly did rather last game. He already has his Leandries. He's building towards a Zonias, which is, if this is kind of like a pseudo AP tanky type build with the Abyssal with some HP from that Leandries, and then obviously the immunity and armor that are going to be coming out of the Zonias.
Push on forward. See when the flanks come through, when the team fights come in. If they're happy to 1-3-1, then maybe that works as well.
They're looking for an engage.
5K. Here comes the attempt, and it's going to be Altec flashing away, ulted on, and that's going to be the dive in for Galio as well. Is that team's not going to be enough? A big stun for Sejuani, and they reach the backside. They delete 1, and they're going to delete a second as well. A double kill yet again. Lourlo picking up all the scraps. Their mid lane now under fire.
Really nicely done. They saw Phoenix on the top side with the cleanse. He cannot see if he can join the fight, and Huni was in the bot lane, so Echo Fox trying to 1-3-1, and Golden Guardians just finds the hard engage with the ultimatum coming out of Camille, plus that Galio ultimate. There's no escaping it as the Ezreal.
And it seems they're looking at Baron now for this one of their best chances to get back into the game off that 2 kills, but Kog'Maw's far away. They're going to have a drowsy. Tahm Kench puts on the shield, and
Lourlo's to the bot side. I actually am kind of the opinion that maybe they should have just started up and tried to risk it, but not feeling confident perhaps against Huni and his Zoe are very, very strong. And Huni now looking to go forward.
Yeah, gonna look for maybe a re-engage. They're gonna
Definitely
find that
down.
stun. Contractz into 1K, gets eaten up by Matt, runs out of this one. And Echo Fox run away, getting kind of delayed recalls. That means that it's gonna be probably their turn to get ward control back.
It will, but Lourlo is alone on the bottom side. We'll be knocking down this turret pretty quickly, but Golden Guardians has to be aware of the fact that this could just be now a reverse Baron play, right? They're just starting it up straight away, and Golden Guardians has not gone back to base. Contractz is low on health. Lourlo hasn't based either. He needs to TP in here if they're going to try to
high. Chemo Plague on 3, TP available, but Lourlo going to be on the far side of this one. Contractz getting lower and lower in health. High forced to run away, waiting for something to be available. Not just yet though. Taunt doesn't find much of anything. A bit of poke, but
back into the pit.
It's an MR tank, so now once again they go onto the Baron. Is this fight going to be good for Dardoch? Flashing in, it's going to be picked up for Dardoch. Nice try by Contractz. They did not keep him out of the pit, but a kill still comes through all the same. Advantage Echo Fox.
Yeah, very nice smite there by Dardoch. It was close between him and Contractz, but it does go Echo Fox's way, and that could be the nail in the coffin. This could be the push that is really going to send it over the edge for Echo Fox and help them close this one out. And I've got to say, from Golden Guardians, the fact that they were too timid to actually start that Baron, that they sent Lourlo to the bot side, that they didn't have the proper base timings, meant they were so unprepared with what seemed like a fairly obvious Baron play that Echo Fox could then set up. I mean, when you stay out on the map that long, you're offering that up to your opponents.
Of course, a couple have already recalled away, so can they get back on Adrian? Looks like that slow is going to be no. Nice Glacial Fissure, out they go.
They're definitely a little bit disappointed by the subsequent plays here from Golden Guardians. The initial play was great, but here it is again. I mean, look at Matt, look at Contractz, already somewhat low. Lourlo didn't get to go back in base either. He has the TP in. Honestly, a really good Hourglass, saving Deftly's life as Huni flashed over, but they're getting pushed very heavily away, and the only hope from here is the Baron steal. Contractz goes in. I believe he's the early smite. Smites at 900, goes down to 161 before it's actually, or sorry, 61 before it's actually smited there by Dardoch, who does pick it up. And Contractz was very close. I mean, that's one auto attack.
Yeah.
That could have actually meant it goes Golden Guardians' way, and really would have been a big swing in this game.
Yeah, I don't blame Contractz for trying an early smite with all the damage in the pit. You've got to make a judgment there, and sadly for him, guessed wrong, but he did the best he could. And again, that's kind of a slight to Echo Fox, though. Giant lead, and they let it go to 50-50.
Yeah, at the same time, you definitely can look at it that way. I agree. Maybe they should have been able to actually zone him out and control it a little bit more methodically. Because in these 50-50 type smites, it feels oftentimes kind of like a penalty kick to me, where it's like you have to choose a side, right? You just have to guess. Is it early? Is it late? You go for it.
They're going to go for this one in the mid lane right here. Phoenix not going to be knocked up. Good stopwatch by him, and now it's just high hit up in the front side. He's not durable for long. Zone news popped, and he will die for this one, and nothing happens to the front line. Definitely forced to run away. Hemoplague means some damage and health as well. This time the engage is turned around by Phoenix and co.
Certainly is, but Golden Guardians felt like they had to try something, didn't feel like they could hold out in a long siege situation with double Ocean now on the table. They're going to be regenning back up from that engage. Top lane is pushing, bottom lane is pushing, and they're looking to go for an engage.
5v4, good chomp. Drowsy, Tahm Kench, but he'll survive this. Phoenix, yeah, not going to risk his neck for that one. Inhibitor down, now up to the top side. Tier 2 going to fall easily. It's gone already, I should say. Just dropped to minions, I think, a second ago. They now look for the inhibitor with still 13 seconds on high.
And they're basically giving it up. Lourlo's bot side, right? Lourlo is just trying to push this out to perhaps prevent a triple inhib and the game being completely over. He's coming back now, but the inhibitor turret is gone. Huni is in their face, taking a lot of damage, though, from Deftly.
Gotta respect that. Matt could come in, looks for a little something, eats up the Kog'Maw. The team is back alive, though. Will they find much of a fight for themselves? High looks for the taunt, looks for damage onto Huni, who's down at 300 HP. He's got to respect this, doesn't burn the Q. A good ult will get the kill. He's gonna, go into the puddle. Will they land something onto Huni, who can't really join this fight anymore? There's the ulti, and that's gonna be a knockup. And they'll get at least Dardoch, you have to believe. As the chain comes through, the taunt in there as well. Huni taunted, they get the kill, 3-for-0. The Hemoplague will mean a little bit, though. The team forced to run away. Now Golden Guardians need to not lose too many teammates as high falls. But 3-for-1 end of the day, at least something for Guardians, as Fox took the base.
They're playing these fights very well. It's the rest of the game that is sometimes falling short, and honestly, really nice set of plays there from Lourlo. If we get that replay, you'll see baiting out the pool from Huni on the initial re-engages. As he goes in, yes, the inhibitor is going down, but Huni is very low, and they know that Huni has his pool available. As everyone is kind of just defending Deftly, that is really their main engage. High going forward here, pushing Huni back, and then Lourlo, you'll see him threaten the hookshot over the wall onto Huni, getting out the pool. As he goes in, he backs off now, setting up for the ultimatum into the Galio ultimate, and then High charging up his ultimate right as Huni comes up. He gets tagged by the taunt, and looked like he may have, just straight up flashed into it, gets tagged by the taunt, and goes down immediately.
The damage didn't have it there. A little bit of turnaround was nice, but now it's time for Golden Guardians to just farm 2 dead inhibitors. And honestly, there's not a lot of other places you really want to be as a Kog'Maw, just destroying super minions for a while.
Maybe killing your opponent's Nexus.
Okay, there's other places that you could be, which is the little opposite situation of that he's in, but at least it they have some time to farm. The Baron buff is gone. There's no Elder Dragon up just yet, so there's not like there's no empowered push to something.
They have some time.
Yeah,
definitely,
that's all I'm going
Definitely
for.
agreed. And he has completed his 4th item, right? So this is definitely a very big deal for him. Really, most of his damage is kind of built up. You don't really need much more than that. Oftentimes, people's last item is things like a Frozen Mallet, so it's more about survivability. And if he can stay safe and pump out that damage, certainly still have chances to take these fights. But it's very hard with 2 waves of super minions pushing in against you. It gives your opponents the map advantage. We'll see if Golden Guardians can find an engage, kind of turn that around. They're TPing him behind. Lourlo is going to come for the flank.
Oh, he nearly killed Matt. With the second
God.
side of that combo. The shield came in a little bit late. He was still sleeping, it looked like. Snipe's gonna get him. He never dodged. Altec gets the kill. So now here comes the re-engage Phoenix Love, but he gets out of this one. 4v5. No kill to be had. The ulti pop out. Lourlo gonna fall. 2 for 0 so far. And in the 5v3, the re-engage comes in. They find Deftly. A triple for Altec. Easy kill on a high as well. Give them a 4th, and they will do so. Looks like a fountain dive is likely in here.
They could go for the Penta if they want to. Vladimir can try to set this up. Will they go for it or will they close it out? Looks like they're looking.
They're going to go for the dive.
Penta for Altec here.
They'll get the turrets first. They're going to get the turrets first.
You got to go for it. You got to go for the Penta.
All right, here comes the attempted dive. Contractz the front line. The dodge going to mean this stun. They just can't do the damage. I appreciate the effort. The sportsmanship was there, but Echo Fox continue to hold on to that first place tie.
It was worth a shot there. Almost got the Penta for Altec, but was not to be. They do take the game, though. Echo Fox close out what was a relatively dominant game. They were always quite ahead. Golden Guardians certainly had some brief moments where it looked like they were coming back into it. They had some good plays. They showed some initiative, but really the play on the top side of the map from Echo Fox, they simply had their opponents outclassed.
Absolutely.
Dardoch, Huni, and Phoenix dominating the early stages. The advantages gained with the Huni and Dardoch duo were incredible, and Phoenix carving out massive advantages for himself in the 1v1 ends the game up almost 100 CS.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely massive stuff right there. Beautiful, beautiful play out of the top side of the map for Echo Fox. They let the bot lane go equal, and that was where the advantages came in, and super huge stuff out of those 3. And sadly, it now means 0 and 7 for Golden Guardians, and every game has those glimmers. Oh, in the mid game we found some team fights. Look what it could have been, but League of Legends is a complex game with a lot going on. You can't just say, oh, well, our team fights are good, because the laning phase matters. And going minus 40 in a one-on-one in mid lane is a huge deal. Getting almost solo kill level 2, a big deal. The gigantic gank effectiveness disparity in the top lane, a huge deal as well. And there was just so much that went Echo Fox's way at the start. Yeah,
I mean, the laning phase, but also you have to say, as far as how they played the map, I think, giving over that Baron after they had won a team fight.
That's big.
Not resetting, not being willing to rush the Baron, but also not resetting and being out on the map at full health and with vision and control around that Baron to actually be willing to contest it. Because at that point in the game, they'd actually gotten quite a few kills in a row. They had gotten to a relatively strong point. If you can actually contest and stop that Baron, you have a much better chance of hanging on and delaying the game. When you give over that Baron buff, you give your opponents who already have the gold lead the tools they need to close out this game, because all of a sudden your wave clear isn't good enough. They push in, they knock down the inhibitors, and that's really what they needed.
Yeah, well, unfortunate stuff for Golden Guardians. They couldn't pull it together, but a great win for Echo Fox. And now to get their thoughts on that game, let's send it over to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Phreak. Picking up a win here for Echo Fox at 6-1. The game followed what is starting to become a trend for this team. Early leads, maybe a little bit of messing around in the mid-game, looking to throw our leads away, and then somehow snagging it back and closing it out.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a period of the game that Echo Fox doesn't play well. Sometimes it's the early game, sometimes it's the late game, sometimes it's the mid game. Luckily for them, their late game has been good almost all of the time, but this was like incredibly similar to that Optic game, as you mentioned. Their last game where they smash early game and you expect it to be over. They're up 6-0, 10,000 gold. Then it's like 6-6 and you don't know what happened.
Right, but these are two of the guys who are the ones who build these leads for Echo Fox, Huni and Dardoch.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see out of this team. Those two combined together, attacking what is one of the high points for Golden Guardians as well. Lourlo has been having an all-right season. And they make sure to shut him down right away early on. Very intelligent play, too, waiting till the last second for this counter gank. Gets the double stun off of it. Contractz lost his flash in the mid lane, trying to get a cleanup kill earlier, so they know that this is another free kill as well. Hand that one over to Huni. And it looks like, hey, everything's rolling. This should be an easy win from here on out.
Right, that's that point in the game, Jat, where you're saying, okay, easy win at this point if they do everything the way they're supposed to. I mean, if you were tuning in over on Riot Games 2, Doublelift and the other Biofrost Olay saying the exact same thing. But then you would see fights like this.
Yeah, and this is so over from their opinion on the other stream that they didn't even acknowledge that this fight happened, but it's a huge throw. They were already losing people up in the top side. You see Vladimir's dead, got picked off, can't teleport in, and then they take this fight that gets TP'd on by the Tahm Kench, and they start losing even more members on this side.
I mean, Jack kind of taking a page out of FlyQuest's book here with that Galio, Jax combo, but not getting the win as a result. But we do see kind of the danger of running headfirst into those kinds of fights or against a team comp like this for the side of Echo Fox.
You got to be careful when you're up against a Galio and Camille for the potential almost reverse snowball. And there was a 50-50 Baron at some point in this game where Echo Fox was able to win the Smite fight, but it went down to double-digit health. Like, this is another one of those games where you're still looking up at Echo Fox and seeing them sitting at 6-1, but you're not as confident as...
Yeah, speaking of that 50-50 Baron, they came off the back of their bot lane getting killed in the mid lane, and then Golden Guardians just completely left the mid lane, didn't do anything with it, just went to catch sideways. So then they forced Baron, gets that crazy situation. With that Baron buff, 3 people died in the top side because they were overstaying at one point as well. It's the kind of stuff that, like, you can pull this off against Golden Guardians and some of the lower tier teams, but when you start going up against 100 Thieves and Team Liquid and C9, and these guys are improving too, and Echo Fox looks like they're really stagnated at portions.
I was going to say, it feels weird to look at a 6-1 team, right? Yeah. Sharing first place with Cloud9 and to start to be poking holes in their strategy, seeing the places where things could fall apart. With that, I want to take a look at what became of the standings after a day of upsets. In first, only Cloud9 and Echo Fox remain, while the middle of the table now has a 4-way tie between Clutch Gaming, CLG, FlyQuest, and TSM in 5th.
And there's that huge amount of teams at 3 and 4 now. That's actually super interesting to me. I'd say Fox Coin, this is when everyone's calling it a bubble right now. Like, it's probably not the most valuable coin on the market, but you never know. Still could be because of that 61 record. But really, FlyQuest, TSM, Counterlogic Gaming, Clutch Gaming, all of them needing to get a win to go to 500.
And that was what was really surprising coming into today, because you thought TSM and CLG were going to win and put more space between them. Really
create that clear playoff.
Yeah, those are the top 6. That's what we were ready for today, and it just creates a ton of doubt with who's going to be getting those last couple playoff spots.
Alrighty, well, before we dive into, or rather move on to tomorrow's matches, let's pull up the player of the games to see who stood out in their wins today. We have Apollo, Licorice, Power of Evil, Stunt, and Dardoch. Who on this list jumps out at you? Who do you want to talk about?
Baron Steals was, I mean, they're highlight plays, but I think Licorice, if I had to pick a player who played the best of the group, might be the one for me today.
I would have to say Stunt, just seeing the Xayah Rakan lane come out, see how well the comp worked with that Rakan pick, and then seeing him actually execute on it. It was a great show of both ideation and execution.
Again, in a day of upsets, all that much more weight put on the performances of these individuals here. We'll see who will shine with another day of games tomorrow. First up, FlyQuest hope to derail the Cloud9 hype train, followed by the Golden Guardians aiming to take down 100 Thieves. Then we have TSM versus CLG, where Biofrost is looking to prove they made a mistake in dropping him from their roster.
To be honest, this match doesn't really mean anything to me. I'm joking.
CLG will tie with TSM as they look to fight them next week.
The rivalry probably stands the strongest for Biofrost.
Playing as Biofrost won't be a big problem because I know how he thinks. He has very glaring weaknesses in my eyes, and I know every single one of them.
I definitely feel like it'll be Vincent's chance to prove that TSM shouldn't have benched him.
Another big flank from Biofrost to start it off, and another teamfight victory for Counterlogic Gaming.
For Biofrost, who was known for playmaking champions when he was on TSM. Biofrost in particular, huge game out of him.
Steam's picking up for this team, Kobe. The faith is restoring slowly but surely.
For me, it's important, at least for my career, because a lot of players after they leave TSM, they kind of fall off.
He has a lot of shot calling qualities to him too, so I'm kind of surprised that TSM kicked him out. I felt like he could have picked up what TSM said they wanted when they kicked him.
Of course, I think I've actually built a lot of good habits while in CLG in terms of my communication and team play.
Yo, we win this! We win this!
He got kicked off TSM. I want to win for him as well.
Would you be willing to dive this? Okay, I'll come pop that. I'm going? Yo, I can go mid! I can go mid!
We haven't shown recently that we're better than TSM, so we really have to win this match.
Damn! That was epic.
Yeah,
I don't think you need to hear any more from us.
it's like Lord of the Rings. It's like, I don't want to follow that up. I have nothing to contribute compared to that.
I got one thing, though. They both lost today.
Both lost.
So the loser,
Tied in the standings.
The loser moves to 3-5, which guarantees them to have a losing record halfway through the season.
That's true. The best they could end at that point would be 4-5 with a win at the
High stakes.
top of the week next week. So a lot at stake here as these teams jostle or jockey for position here midway through the split. But that's going to do it for us today. So for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast